Hey, welcome to Horns Up. I'm Animesh.
And I'm Peter.
And we're joined by Dave Matrise from death metal juggernauts Jungle Rot. Hi, Dave. Welcome to Horns Up.
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to do this. I've been doing a press all day, and you're the last one, and it's been good. It's been a good day. This is what we wait for. We put the release out, and this is the hype, and, this is what it's all about, getting the feedback for seeing what people think about it. That's it. This is what we waited for.
They put the release out. For those of you who've been living under a rock, the release is the new Jungle Rot album. It's called A Call to Arms. What is this album a call to arms to? Who are you calling out, and who do you want to get armed?
It's nothing like that. It's just that song, The Call to Arms. I mean, you could take it any way you want. People think it's about war and stuff like that, but it's actually, if you listen to the lyrics, it's about us in the band and struggling and fighting forward and being brotherhood and calling arms and staying together as one. That's kind of how that song came about, and it's the title track, and it's pretty cool how it went down.
I mean, why was that the message that needed to be emblazoned on the album cover itself?
Kind of just felt good. I mean, just felt like, I wanted to call the old school together. Let's go. Let's get this, let's come on, old school.
Yeah, we could use that in these times. I mean, with what's happening around the world, everyone has their own problems. The world has its own problems.
Yeah, but remember, the metal family is one big family, so it's a call to arms, bring us all back together where we belong,
Yeah, and it's crazy because when I was thinking about it, right, like war and death metal is just kind of synonymous if you think about it. So that's why I was very curious to know what a call to arms was. But one of the signatures of the Jungle Rot sound is the influence of hardcore punk, and on this album you've got a lot of instances of the D-beat drums, the strong structures, the gang vocals.
I think you're right. You nailed it. There's a couple songs. I was always a big Propane fan. I love Propane, and I can see some of their like asymmetric warfare. I can sense that in there, a little chorus. I sense it, man. I definitely, I do sense it, man. It came out on this one for sure. Yeah.
Do you make any distinction between the genres as such? Like, did you go out and go like, this one needs to sound a bit more hardcore?
No, nothing like that at all. When I write, I do most of the writing. I do it all pretty much on the guitar, and I just kind of lock myself away. I don't listen to a lot of music when I go into bomber mode. I kind of stay in my own little zone there, and whatever comes out, whatever feels good. When I write, I always, say that I write for liveness. I try to write the music that always sounds just penetrating, and I always try to send the people home when they wake up in the morning, remembering those riffs in their head, and it just pounds it in there. And that's what Jungle Rot's all about, is when you leave the show, you're taking something home with you, and you're going to remember it,
It's so weird that you say that, because I kid you not, the title track, which is the first song on the album, and the last track, Population Suicide, both the bookends are continuously repeating in my head for a good 24 hours now. I think it has a lot to do, especially with Population Suicide's outro, with the repeated suicide. And it's a slamming song, man. Slamming song.
Yeah, I'm glad you got it, man, because a lot of people don't get our fans know what we're all about, but people that really don't know us, that don't give us the time of the day, they really don't get the band, what we're about. We built an identity over the 11 albums. We got a tone, we got a sound, and when we put it in, people know exactly who we are, and that's why would we want to change that? That's the recipe that works for us, and we're here to carry the torch, to the end.
Okay, so 11 albums in, what has this particular album number 11, what has this taught you that you may not have known before, or you just realized with this album?
Nothing really learned from it. I mean, the only experience that we did learn on this experience from this album that I can remember is that going through the pandemic, all the virus and stuff shutting us down. When we got done touring on the last album, the self-titled, we did it for 2 years, and it hit right when we ended. So we took advantage of that and started writing the album, and then we finished the album. We sat on it for a year. We never done that before, almost a year. And we're used to turning it in right away and, going on the road 3 months later, promotion, everything. But this time we had a lot of time to sit on it, and I found myself going back to it and remixing it and stuff. So, that wasn't a good thing, and I mixed it a couple times here and there, and I kind of got lost, and I went back to Dan, and Dan Swano, he's always done a great job for us, and he steered me right back to the original that he did, and we ended up going back to the original. So sitting on it too long was not a good thing for me, man. I wasn't, because I just wanted to get out there and I started picking. I had to do something with it. I didn't want it to go away, and I just started picking too much, but we went with the original, man.
It's interesting that you bring up Dan Swano, because we've had him on the podcast
cool.
a couple of years ago, and man, that guy has some stories. Like,
that's a true legend.
Yeah, like if I quote him well, he said his longest interview he's done is like 8 hours. So,
oh my Lord,
the time he spent with us was very small compared to that. But one thing, if I remember well, picking up from that interview is he doesn't pick up too many projects. He was very selective about the projects that he does now. How did you manage to get him on board? I'm very curious to know.
I think he enjoys the music. I think that's what it is. He's probably a fan of it. I mean, good working relationship. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, he's got a lot of music he can pick and choose from for sure. He's overbooked with everything, and it's an honor to have him to do it. I wish I would have started a little earlier on some of our earlier careers, but I'm glad we hooked up and we got a really good working relationship now.
No, definitely. That makes sense.
Okay, but working with somebody like Dan Swano, how do you even make that happen? How do you best utilize somebody as talented as him and get him to make sure that it doesn't veer away from what jungle rot is supposed to sound like?
Yeah. I know what you're saying there. I think he knew the band before going in, so he kind of knew our style already. That helped out a lot. And, so he kind of knew what we're all about. But I gave him references before, bands that I kind of liked. I turned in Propane. It's kind of weird. I always thought that Prophets of Dooms, I don't know if you know that album, that mix on there and master is incredible. I mean, I think to this day, and I kind of always go off of that punch that, I kind of like the way they did that. And I always use that for a reference. And, I think just our style of, what we are, and that's what we came up with. And you guys nailed how you sense a little bit of that hardcore in there. And I think that's where you probably felt it, going through that.
Alrighty. So I think now is a good time to play a song from the album. Let's give our listeners a taste if they haven't had it already. What's a song that best represents the album to you? And why is it that particular song?
Let's see, what would be a good one? That's a tough question, man. I mean, they're all good. I like them all. How about let's do the Call to Arms, man. I always, like I said, that one to me, it means a lot. It's, the gang, and I think it's a very well-rounded song. It's got all the elements that makes a good Frankenstein song. I said, it's got the groove, it's got the speed, it's got it all, man. It just has a lot of flavor, and it's just fun for me to play and sing. I really enjoy that song.
Fantastic. Here is A Call to Arms.
Maintain the attack. trumpets of the church, the massive distance that can pain. Under my minds in legal force, and sure purpose not in vain.
Now, this is something I've been dying to ask you for a while, especially since, at least in the last few years, that jungle rot has been really prolific. One constant presence in jungle rot since 1994 has been you, right? And
Yeah.
I have to know what's really drives you after all these years, right? Because it's been a long time, let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. I get asked that a lot, and sometimes I question myself, but a lot of it is I have a lot of goals yet that I want to achieve. You know, a lot of dreams I'm still chasing. You know, I want to play a lot of the festivals in Europe yet. You know, the bigger ones, Hellfest, you know, Whacking, of course, and Bloodstock. I played quite a few already, but I want to chase them. I want to get them on. I think that has a lot to do with it, man. I mean, you know, you got to chase your dreams, and I'm still here doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really interesting, right? Because like, if you think about it, and when you look at the 90s, and I keep talking because I'm a huge death metal fan, and you had that time between 91 and 93 where everyone was down in Florida recording at Morrison Sound and stuff like that, right? Like finally, at one point, it became like a death metal template in there. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, because that's when you kind of started jungle rot out. So just as someone who's kind of really was in the thick of things then, I want to know what's the same and what's different between death metal in the 90s and currently.
I get that. That's another question. I didn't really see a difference. I mean, the scene's still the same, man. There's still that 250, 300. You know, that's always been the average. There's always been a underground I've seen. I mean, it's never really, it hit its low points in, I think, 2001. I remember that's when it really hit its low points, when everybody had a label, everybody had a CD. I mean, that's when it was oversaturated, but it was never really weak, in my opinion. The scene has always been strong here. And, from Skin and Living to now doing the old, what I remember the most about the old Skin and Living, and that is getting together with the guys and, you know, writing the album and being in a jam spot, sweating it. You know, them were good times back then. And, you know, now it's a little different. Now we write on the computer. I do most of the writing with my guitar player, and that it's kind of just a little different now. I think a lot of it's because we don't have time like we used to when we were younger. You know, you got families and jobs, and, you know, but we still keep it going though.
But how much do you think the internet has changed music, especially for you guys as musicians? I mean, not just from music making, because that definitely, like, you can see the technological advancement and the ease that it's brought in. But what about the other aspect to it, which is basically making known that there is, say, a new Jungle Rot album out, in terms of marketing it, in terms of promoting it? The very fact that we are able to have this kind of a conversation today wouldn't have been possible, right? Like even 5 years back.
It's pretty amazing to me. I mean, I don't do a lot of social media stuff. I'm kind of real primitive myself. I stay to myself. But I just started doing this. These are the first time I started doing these Zoom things. I mean, that's how kind of, you know, outdated I am. I mean, but I don't know anything about technology or nothing. I kind of miss that. I'm a little older, you know. I mean, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, but I don't know a lot about it, but what I know about it, it does a lot for the band, and I think it does wonders. It gets you instantly, and this is amazing, you know. I mean, you know, years ago it was all pen pals and writing and stuff like that. You know, this is pretty fun here, man. I think this is like my 15th or 20th one, and I've done it. I've never done them until this year on this album, so it's pretty exciting for me.
Okay, now that you are doing it, do you think it's made the world come to you? Do you think it's made the world a bit smaller for you?
I wouldn't say smaller. It's making us come together, right? We're becoming together. I mean, it's kind of cool how we can sit there and laugh together, man. You know, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's making us come
Bringing
together.
us
It's
together.
almost as if
Bringing us
we, yeah. Now the
Yeah,
album
bringing us-
title makes sense. It's a call to arms to come together.
That's right. Hey, you got it. No, I'm really not a computer, and my bass player is a nuts over that stuff. He runs most of it, and the label does. But yeah, I'm kind of one of them, backseaters. I don't know a lot about it. I'm a hardworking man.
But one of the things actually I found, and this is on Wikipedia, so you can actually dismiss it as a myth or what. Let me know if it's actually true. But actually, when y'all started out, y'all were signed to Pure Death Records, which was run by Jimmy Jasta back in the day.
Yeah.
So-
He was our first. Yeah.
So
Go
he
ahead.
was actually always into death metal.
Oh yeah. He was the first guy that he used to book shows, man. He used to have a band, and he had Hatebreed way back then before they broke, and he used to bring us out there and book us, do his tours and stuff, and he was a really diehard fan of the band. He put the album out, and you could tell, if you know Hatebreed, you could sense a lot of Jungle Rot influence, I'm sure, from that Skin of Living. I think he still got that tone from us, but yeah, he was a big fan of the band, helped us out a lot early on in the career. He's a great guy. He did a lot for the metal scene here. He's a great guy. I'm still waiting for him to take me on tour, though.
Because he has this thing, and I think it's a T-shirt which is coffee, death metal, and push-ups.
Yeah.
and I find that really cool. It's that's how you start off your day.
Yeah, I love Hatebreed. He's good. He's very positive. His lyrics are great. Jamie's a great guy. You need people like that in this world.
True, it's true.
Speaking of tours, you guys are heading out again, right? Soon?
Pretty soon, a week and a half, I think. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Seriously, seeing the people that that we've been following us for so many years. Going out there and touring and seeing them happy faces and getting up there and sweating. And getting out there and doing what we do.
Are you really happy to get back to the grind?
I think we are, man, and we grind it too, man. The way we do it, we grind it. We taught ourselves how to suffer. We're one of those bands that suffer, and we taught ourselves how to do it. And
that's a fantastic line, by the way. We taught ourselves how to suffer.
Yeah.
That's a good
really
way.
have. I'm gonna write that down real quick. Yeah, I've always said it took a special person to do this kind of stuff, because we're living in a van at this tour 17 straight, and we're living at 17 days straight. It's
Wow.
tough gig, man. But we enjoy it. We go to the rest stop, truck stops, and it's like camping out. You gotta have fun with it.
Yeah, actually, that's a nice way of looking at it, like camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone who's got a job, when everybody works together and has a job, and it goes so much. You're a team, and it goes a lot smoother. It's a lot funner when you're on one. Become one like that. And there's no, you know what I'm saying. It's a strong bond.
Yeah, that's true. But I was watching some of your earlier interviews that you did, and you actually said that you don't listen to a lot of new music, and you kind of stick to the classics. So if I could look in your playlist at the moment, whether it's, I don't know, do you use Spotify or?
Nah, not too much, man. No,
wow. Okay. So what's this?
So what's spinning?
Yeah,
these
on
days?
on your CD.
I've been
or
living
tape
under.
player.
I've been living under a rock. That's what I've been doing, man. No, but I'm up. I'm still up on stuff, man. I still listen to the old, stuff that's German Invasion that took my soul, of course. But I don't listen to music as much as I do as I used to, because of the way I'm so busy. It's hard to find time to. When I can, I do for sure. But I'm up on a lot of new bands. I love Frozen Soul. I know all about them.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
cool.
Undeath, I know them. I mean, we got 200 Stab Wounds now working their way. I know all the bands that are coming up because they're kind of around this area. We see them when they come and play, and, you know, they just toured through. But we're always trying to support what we can, man. And I think it's great. All these new young bands, they're just pure, straight up old school death metal bands that are coming out, man.
But
it's really exciting.
But I have to ask you, since you know a lot of these bands, what does it feel like when you see how popular they're getting, right? And when you think about their sound and just the way their entire package, I mean, let's take Undeath for an example. I never would have thought a band like Undeath would actually chart on the Billboard. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it is amazing. You know, I don't really I'm glad for it because it's all, you know, it's death metal, but you know, you have to start. I mean, I wish we could do that sometimes, but you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's weird how certain bands take off. It's just a good thing because by them doing that, it helps everybody, man. It's not just helping them, it's helping everybody because it's just making the scene bigger, and that's what it needs to be. You know, somebody has to break through every year, and you know, I'm glad that it's happening. It's old school death metal, you know, because we're in that category. There's not too many people doing that old school death metal, especially us, our style, man. It's really primitive old school, and you know, I'm glad I'm doing it because you know, there's so much the origin. I love that stuff, but that level is set so high. I mean, it's so many good bands doing that, man. I mean, it seems like there's less what we're doing, and I kind of like that. You know?
If you think about it, there's kind of like a cyclical nature when it comes to stuff like music, right?
Yeah.
Like I grew up listening to a lot of metal in the early 2000s, so a lot of new metal and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I know what you're talking about. And now it's crazy when you think that bands like Slipknot and stuff are still doing tours and, you know, releasing new music and stuff like that right now.
Another thing I've always said too, man, you know, a lot of bands can't move up the ladder until a lot of the bands go away, and none of the bands are going away. And that's why it's always been, you know, there's certain heavyweights and they're never going to be moving up there. And you know what I'm saying, until they disappear. And that's kind of what's hurt Jungle Rot in our career. We came out a little bit too late, you know, 5 years too late when all the kings were already signed. Timing is everything, you know, in music and life in general, you know, and we were kind of a little bit too late, man, to be in that category. You know, all the obituary and everybody already got signed, and, you know, we passed it up. And so we, you know, became underground dwellers. That's what we are.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, Slayer's still doing its final tour, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, but it's good to see these young bands jump up. You know, hopefully the big test is if they can ever get up to headlining, because that's the biggest test. If we can get some more headliners, that's what we need. And there's a lot of good direct support bands like us. There's a ton of direct support bands, but not enough headliners. We know that. You know, and it's taken 5 bands now for a package to make a headlining show, you know. I mean, but they're big though. I mean, the Fetus show is going on right now. That's doing really good, selling out. I mean, it's really doing good. The shows are all doing good. I'm hoping for the best for ours.
Yeah, and even it blows my mind, like a band with a name like Dying Fetus, right, is headlining and getting out there and stuff like that. But hey, more power to
yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how they built respect on that name. There's respect. That's what it is. They got power. They know that name. They are a very strong band, man. They bring in a lot of people and they earn respect, and that's cool too, you know.
Yeah. And they put on a crazy show. I mean, I've seen them. And for 3 guys, it's just like,
yeah, it's amazing. They're the true inventors of that. I mean, Fetus and us started out early on in the beginning. Back Jasta used to hook us up with shows with them. We're on the same label. We all started out together, and they were great back then. They were the inventors of all that style. They really are, man. And that's why they're on top, man.
One thing I've noticed about Jungle Rot is you guys are like very consistent, right? And pandemic aside, there was like every couple of years you guys are already like releasing music and putting out touring, that whole kind of cycle in there. So I'm curious to know, since you said you had that time to kind of work on A Call to Arms, did you already, now that the album's out, did you have time to already work on new music? Are you already writing? What? We have some songs. I actually have 2 songs carried over from the last one. I didn't make the album, so we got a good start on that. And then I'm always writing. I'm always picking up the guitar. I mean, it's just, that's my nature. I mean,
my cell phone probably has almost over 100 changes on it. I'm in that stage of just writing changes and recording them on my phone right now. And then as soon as I get done with the touring for the summer, I'll go right to writing right away and hopefully get in the studio the following winter and get it out for the next 24 summer. And we'll finish the cycle of touring and be ready to go. I'm really excited to be on Unique Leader. I mean, it's I think that we found a good home. I mean, the most excitement about that is it's a younger crowd, and I am excited about that a lot. I hope we can get some of that younger generation. I know they're a brutal slam label, but once again, we're different on there. He's got a lot of brutal slam, but he don't have no old school. So it's kind of cool to have that flavor in there. He's took a chance with us, and I'm glad he did because we're really excited for the future with him.
So on that note, thank you so much for sparing some time and chatting with us.
Yeah.
I know, you told us that thunderstorms coming your way, and hopefully nothing stupid happens.
No, I can hear it thunder, and I think we'll be all right. We got a lot of those. The humidity, once this time of the year, we get quite a few. Tornado time this is here, but we ain't really. I've never seen one though, man. But we get them in our state. He touched on quite a bit.
Thanks so much, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, check out Jungle Rot's new album, Call to Arms, and let us know what you thought about it. As always, you can do that on hornsupppod.com or on Twitter at hornsupppod. I'm at Asmani on Twitter.
I'm at Trend Crusher.
And this was Horns Up.
Horns up, guys.